Fix this fucking thing. Oh, here we go. What is up, guys? How are you? Happy Halloween. It is, whew, wow, scary. Scary for Halloween, right? A scary game. Just sloppy, not what you expect coming off a bye. The first half was a clusterfuck of epic proportions offensively. And same thing for Miami. Miami was atrocious. Self-inflicted wounds. What's up, Los? How you doing, bro? Self-inflicted wounds off the rip in the worst possible spots. But hey, that's to our benefit. If they can't line up right, if they can't get their plays called in, and Gesicki is, going nuts. I think he got. I don't know which motion man got hit with the ball, but it totally boondoggled their whole end of first half possession. They could have tried to, double dip. That failed. Winning at half, 3-3. Is really nothing to talk about in the first half, other than it was just terrible. Eric, you were there. I mean, and I was thinking about you. I didn't want to bother you during the game because you were at the game. I don't know what the Wi-Fi is like in the stadium, but I was wondering, like, dude, what are you seeing? Because you had pretty good seats. You posted your seats. I was like, what are you seeing, bro? Like, because it just looked, I don't know if receivers weren't get open. Josh wasn't seeing the field. Josh went fucking ham on the sideline. He just went ballistic. Was super, super frustrated. What's up, Trevor? And, as Diggs went over and talked to him, he even talked about it after the game, how he has to play within his zen or whatever, something Phil Mickelson told him. But, man, the game in the first half was just like, it looked like a team that never played. It was like together before. It looked like the Dick Duran Bills of 09. Terrible. And the defense really, really held it down. You got to give Bass all the credit in the world for hitting that 57-yarder. It was insane, and it got windy in that stadium. And what's up, Zach? How you doing, bro? Yes, he really. And the reason that I think that happened for you, Zach, is because at the end of the game, if Miami wasn't so chippy and tried to do what they'd done on the two Josh Allen runs, where Christian Wilkins tries twisting his ankle, and then there was a face mask near on the sidelines when Josh Allen did that hold my dick run, where it was just like a sweep. They wouldn't have tried to score that rub it in touchdown at the end, and he was just like, fuck it, I'm going to score this touchdown. Like, he thought about it and was like, nah, I'm going in. And he ties Cam Newton for the most rushing touchdowns in the first 50 starts. And before I go into the game, I want to talk about what happened today in the NFL a little bit. And it was a brutal reminder, the national media, the blue checkmark brigade, the talking heads out there, they love getting their anointing oil out and propping up the Justin Herberts of the world, the Joe Burrows of the world, the whoever's, the teams, the Bengals, the Chargers. They're this, they're that, they're the second coming or whatever. And I just like, and here's the Bills, just nice and steady, nice and steady. And given what happened last week, we were still dejected by that. The way they played the first half, it's like I had a little trepidation about this game. Everybody was feeling highly confident about this game. I was just very, very like, Miami's up against it. They got good football players. And they have some explosive football players. And I know the Bills have the record they do against this team, but they're desperate and they're going to let it all hang out today. So I was very worried about this game. And in the first half, my fears are really coming to fruition. But let me tell Eric was at the game. Somebody say offensive line was too inconsistent. Josh seems hesitant with decision. Yeah, man, you were there. He had a good vantage point. The offensive line, it didn't look like it got any push. Zero movement in the run game. The short yardage downs were terrible. The Bills' running game did help a little bit in the second half. There was some nice, a couple of nice Moss runs. There was one good Singletary run in there. I think it was right before. It was the field goal drive, but it was still, it was still nice to see them blend it up. What's up, Hussein? How you doing, bro? I wanted to give everybody a chance to decompress after that game. I was going to jump on right away, but I was like, look, I want to give everybody a chance to breathe. That game was frustrating and fun all in one, because they came out in the second half after the first. They went 3-and-out right out of the gate after the Bills got to stop them 3-and-out, or I think they got the ball back after Miami took a penalty. They might have gotten a first down, but they took a penalty, and the Bills got the ball back. Promptly went 3-and-out. Very hapless drive, and after that, they scored on every drive they had. They scored on every drive. Could have easily been 28, 31 points. They really, the disaster averted though on the Isaiah McKenzie muff punt. Kumaro touchdown. Jesus fumble recovery. Jesus was there for it. Hussein, I can't chat, but I'll listen. Yeah, that's all good, bro. It's all good. I'm just gonna blow up the. I'm just gonna run my mouth, and I'm gonna let you guys just fill the room and say what get blow your loads, because I'm sure you guys have a lot to say. What's up, bro? How you doing, Matt? It's all good, man. It's all good. You were in here all last year, like a lot of you were and still are. But let me get two things off my chest, two negative things. One thing I found to be in bad taste. I don't know what your guys' opinion on it is, but OJ Simpson was at the game today. He posted a thing on his Twitter, and some Bills media picked up on it. Tim Graham hinted that he was in town. Somebody apparently had him in their box, and he was taking pictures with fans, and it just makes me sick. I'm sorry. I just don't like the fact that the guy's associated with the Bills in any way, shape, or form. He was there rocking Bills colors, and it's just it was just like, oh man, just like, please, just this guy can just go away already. The officials, Eric, again, you were there. I don't know. I know what I saw on the TV broadcast. I don't know what the fuck these guys watch when they watch these games in real time. They're calling hands to the face out the ass, illegal hands to the face. Miami was doing that the whole first half, didn't seem to get a penalty. Then all of a sudden they started calling it, particularly on their defensive line, just knocking the Bills heads back, offensive lineman head back. And even on the defensive line, you see it happen on the Gesicki 40-yard catch. Ruseo's helmet comes flying off. Clear hands to the face by Jesse Davis. Not a flag. Nothing. And then there's all these little ticky-tack. Like, I hate watching games from the standpoint of, like, a lot of you guys, you want to celebrate a good play. You want to get excited. But the first thing you do after a play is over is like, is there where's the yellow marker? Is it on the screen? Is there a flag on the field? It was terrible. It absolutely atrocious. In the first half, it just seemed like, and they always come at these certain times. Miami got bailed out on a couple of penalties that were real trash. It was disgusting. Yeah, I noticed that little screen. To Moss was really. They were just okay. If you're gonna sit they look like they were in a 2-deep zone all day, trying to keep everything in front of them. They tried to get some double moves on the outside, but I think Josh missed a couple. I think he missed. He might have missed Sanders on a couple of them. One was on the left-hand side, one was on the right-hand side. The other one was in the second half. He went for it. But it was right before the long third down. Beasley converted that. Beasley was money in this game. When you hear these fan sites posting stuff on Twitter about trade, just anything. And you guys know how I feel about these fan sites. I'm sorry. I get it, but these guys would sell their mother's soul for some clout, a retweet, a click, a like, from the right person. Beasley has an opinion about something, and I respect him for it. I respect everybody's opinion about it because it's your opinion, and I respect you as people, whichever way that opinion lies. I'm going to respect you for it. That's your opinion. That's your decision, your choice. But, saying, oh, is he going to get traded or not? I'm like, come on, man. That's just totally unfounded and baseless. And then he goes out and puts a performance out there like that today where he's laying out, he's banged up, he's getting up. He got the air knocked out of him. He ate a good shot on a wide receiver screen. And they really, excellent team win. Sweeney caught some big passes in the second half. Moss stepped up in the pass game. He had a nice block on a third down conversion. Huge, team. The team really came together after that first 3-and-out offensively. It really just started firing on all cylinders. It was beautiful to watch. Yeah. A lot of the play today, particularly on the line, and the way that their quarterback. What's up, Sportsdom? How you doing, bro? I remember you, bro. Indicative hallmarks of a Bill Belichick disciple with the way they play. I'll harken back a long time ago. If some of you might remember Vince Wilfork on J.P. Lossman's knee. Very, very atypical, cheap shit that they try to do with their hands in muddy piles and different things like that. I have no respect for them whatsoever, and they were going for the gusto today, and that's basically why we saw the fuck you touchdown at the end, where Josh went off, flexed, did the wave, the bye, said, peace out, Miami. They really buried their season today. That was a desperate team. Their defense played really, really well. The Bills played like shit. I'm not going to not give Miami's defense credit because they made the Bills' offense play like shit. They gave them a tough run in the first game, even though it was 35-0. Bills had to earn every bit of that 35 points. And he had one bad punt today. But the preceding punts were good. And they were down inside the 20, which helped a lot. I know the one where they got it down inside the 20. I know Miami moved the ball a little bit on that drive, but the Bills eventually stopped them. And it's just, we're so used to Bojorquez booming them. And I don't really watch the it's a matter of seconds. I know it's a very minutia thing. It's, I think everybody's kind of traumatized after the first game, the punt block. But if that's something that they have to look at or consider in terms of having him speed it up, then I'm sure they'll do it. They're very buttoned down with details. But Allen really, that was a hell of a performance by him today to rebound. And you just see how he is the unquestioned heartbeat of this team, how everybody responds to him in on offense. Even if the defense came out, I mean, they gave up the one touchdown drive, but if you look at the drive, how it was aided, supposedly, like the refs, like I said, the officials were terrible. The fourth down that the Bills went for it on the possession before Miami boondoggled, they're inside the 10, the 15. They were inside the 15 on the Hyde recovery of that, whatever the hell botch snap that they had. And the guy clearly moves. Allen points at him. I know you don't want to be a beggar and, plead for the refs to help you in a game, but still the guy jumped. Allen thought that they were going to blow the play dead. He just went with it, threw it. They go to commercial break. It's like, no, okay. It was intentional grounding anyway, so it's Miami's ball right there. It was just terrible. It's just these refs are folly, man. They're folly. They're pathetic. And there was one other play that they did that was just like head scratching. Just like, I believe it was one of the runs Josh Allen had. I believe it was a Josh Allen run before they had to settle for a field goal. Like I'm saying, they could have easily scored 28, 31 points in the second half. The play's over. You're sitting there. You think you got it first and goal inside the 10. And all of a sudden, here comes the flag. Oh, Feliciano blocked below the knees outside the pocket. That's like, why did you throw the flag? Why didn't you throw the flag when the play was going on? Was that the sky judge again? And then all of a sudden there was a flag. I don't know if it was in the first half or the second half, because there was apparently 18 penalties. There was 18 penalties. Each team had 9 penalties called on them today. 9 penalties. Bills were +2 in the turnover margin. They're +13 for the season. They didn't turn over the ball once today, which was very, very much needed. Time of possession was a push. Bills had a very minuscule advantage. Red zones, 3 for 4. excellent. The only thing that fucked that up was that penalty I just alluded to. This is a weird stat. Having watched the game, you would have never known it. Bills led the game in rushing today. 104? It wasn't a big rushing day at all. 102 to 68. Most of that Josh Allen. That was, I don't know, Eric, you're in the stadium. That flag comes out like a minute plus after the play is over. Like I'm watching the broadcast and all of a sudden, oh, here comes a flag. I'm like, here for what? Like why if they don't see the flag? And then there was the flag I'm talking about. They throw a flag and then they talk about it for like, not long, about 15, 20 seconds. They pick up the flag and say there's no foul on they don't even allude to what they threw a flag for. I'm like, well, why did he throw a flag? It's amateur hour out there with these officials, man. I'm sorry to bitch about them so much. It's amateur hour. I don't know what that game was about, but I know there was a bad penalty, a bad fuck up on a fumble a fumble return for a touchdown that was called down. I don't know what that was about, but I saw the replay. Yeah, I thought, I'm like, was that a first and goal play, Eric? I believe it was a first and goal play. The Bills were going to go in. I think they had to settle for a field goal, like a 30-yarder. I'm like, they're first and goal. They're set up. They're going to go up 21. I think it was 21-3 at the time. They're going to go up 21-3. And that's it. Game's over. And nope, sure than shit, the flag. I'm like, and of course it's on the Bills, but it was the penalties. I want to go to the stats because it was like Miami had 9 penalties for 58. Bills had 9 for 80. So Bills had 22 more yards and penalties. But that's a crazy stat. Even on the rushing attempts, 23 apiece. Miami only had. It's just crazy. Miami only had 68 rushing yards. If you watched the game, you would have thought they had more. But again, you watch around the league today, everybody's darling team, the Bengals. If you listen to the national pundits, the talking heads, the blue checks, the Bengals, man, oh my God, the Bengals, they're set, they're rocked. They don't lay an egg, but they don't anticipate the Jets going blow with them with Mike White at quarterback. Mike White. Who's Mike White? I think Western Kentucky? Western Kentucky. And I know what you guys know the NFL. I know this media market. You guys, I'm sure, are familiar with the New York media market, New York, NYC. There's going to be questions about who should start at quarterback for the rest of the season now. If you get a quarterback who throws for 400 yards against a good football team in their building, sparks a lifeless offense, they're going to jump on that gravy train. And they're going to be like, you know what? This guy we just drafted 2nd overall, stay heel up a little bit more. It's going to be, look what's going on with Tua. Kid doesn't get answered questions about the football game. Coach doesn't get to ask questions about the football game. Every second or third question is Deshaun Watson. Oh, Justin Herbert, another darling, looked horrible today against the Patriots. And here's another dink and dunk win, just timely interception, pick 6 return for a touchdown by Adrian Phillips that allows the Patriots to beat the Chargers in their building for a 2nd straight year. It was just another, it's the NFL, man. And that's why, like, when the game started unfolding like they did, after the Bills had secured their win, I'm like, this league. I mean, look what happened to the Jaguars coming out of a bye. They just got hammered against a team that looked like they couldn't score if they saved their life with Geno Smith at quarterback, the Seattle Seahawks. And they go on the road across country and just brutalize them. I think they went to Jacksonville. Don't quote me on that, though. But, man, it was a crazy game. But the defense has to really get a lot of props here. The only touchdown drive, again, given up was marred with question marks. Gesicki just giving Hyde a brutal stiff arm push off before he could separate and catch that. And Miami eventually Tua just runs it in. Just still pisses me off. Bills couldn't get that first down last week watching a short yardage conversion by him. But Miami just ultimately killed themselves with stupid mistakes, and Bills forced them into a lot of mistakes. I'll defer to Eric again because he was there. Ed Oliver looked like a man possessed. He almost had a sack. He did have a sack. It got negated by a Jerry Hughes offsides. Poyer seals the game with a beautiful, beautiful interception. Just sat on that route, played center field, and just steps in front of Devontae Parker and just drilled it. They really held Devontae Parker down in the second half. After Parker had a big first half, he only had that one big catch on the desperation drive late in the game, and that was it. Bills really buckled him down. But Tua just I don't know if you put the turnover on him, if you put the turnover on the center, or it was I don't think it was Waddle in motion, got hit with the snap. Flores doesn't take the timeout there. I know on a third down conversion, McDermott's screaming timeout, timeout, timeout. Refs don't give it to him, and I don't know if it was Gaskin or Patrick Laird caught a third down conversion on Tremaine Edmonds. But outside of that, the Bills, a handful of frustrating plays. They were tremendous on defense. They were tremendous. Gesicki in motion. So it hit him. I don't know I didn't see who it hit. I just knew he was losing his mind. Like at the end of every play, he was just like that's all I saw was him doing this. That's it. Like it was just crazy. And then he ended up catching the 40-yarder, calmed them down after he got away with one. I think the refs let him get away with it to shut him up. I don't know. But it was just it was a delightful second half, a horrific first half. I'm watching the beautiful touchdown. That was on Xavier Howard too. That was a killer right there by Josh. Stephon Diggs got leverage inside on Xavier Howard, crossed his face, and just took that right into the end zone for a touchdown. Beautiful play. Beautiful play. Jets stunning the Bengals here at home. To Mike White for the 2-point conversion go ahead. And Shaq Lawson had a tipped INT that gave them the chance for that. And here's Herbert's pick six. A receiver just didn't look like he was expecting the ball, ran a wrong route, and Phillips got a gift, and that pretty much gave them the game. Brady lost today against Trevor Siemian after Jameis Winston got knocked out of the game. Bills play both of these teams. The last three I mentioned actually coming up here soon. Patriots twice, these two teams. So at the NFL, man, I just think that you have to watch the games individually week by week. You can't play these games on paper. People, it's like the Rams, they went and crushed a hapless Houston team. The only game they looked like they were in, aside from the one that they won, was the one against the Patriots, where their head coach basically just gifted Culley just gifted the game to the Patriots with his horrible decisions. It was a very frustrating game to watch, much like this was in the first half. It was frustrating because it's like you cannot waste an amazing defensive performance like this. You can't do it. The defense is playing its balls off. Sanders missed that. Those two big situations were huge in the outcome of the game. Eventually, Sanders missing the first field goal. Them botching the end of the half possession, even if they come away with a field goal, they're going up 9-6. Those 6 points, if you look at the totality of the game, were extremely vital. Could have changed the whole complexion of the way the game was played. But I could say the same thing about a lot of other plays. You can't. That's why the woulda, shoulda, coulda game it's a fool's errand. What's up, What's how you doing, bro? Yeah, Sweeney played well today. He was sure-handed. There were big plays in the second half that he caught. I think he caught a bone early in the game that didn't go for much, but those two plays in the second half went for first downs, which were you were just dying. We would have sold our soul for a first down. I know I would have. I was jonesing, man. I needed a hit. I was like, come on, just give me a first down. I'd do anything for a first down. But when they went on that scoring drive, I made a promise to myself, or a declaration, I should say. in the second when the halftime was going on. I said, if the first team that scores a touchdown today is going to win. Period. If it's Miami or Buffalo, the first team scores today a touchdown is going to win. And I should have put it out there, but I didn't. I was just like, you know what? If I tweet it, it's going to come back and smack me in the face. So I'm not going to say shit. I tend not to tweet during the game unless the game's decided. Then I'll start tweeting. Yeah, Sweeney he did well. You could tell it's kind of crazy. You could tell they miss Knox a little bit. You can tell that they miss Knox a little bit. I think Knox is still a big part of their plans. It's good to see. If you watched, he did a little cute Halloween video with a kid, him and Tommy Sweeney. He doesn't have a cast on his hand. He just has a little bandage, a wound dressing, probably for the incision. The hand did look a little swollen, though, if you guys looked at it like I did. I know you're all Bill psychos like me. So you looked at that shit and was like, okay, his hand, he looks like he's about a week or so away, a couple of weeks. I would give him 80-20 back for the Jets, depending on what goes on. And I would say definitely 100% back for the Thanksgiving game. I would say he's back 100% for that. And they're going to need him. I mean, you need all your hands on deck in this league. But Bills were without Spencer Brown today. Bills inserted Ike Bucker into the lineup in his place. They slid Ike Bucker to left guard in between Morse and Dawkins. They had Feliciano at right in between Williams and Morse. Pretty much all of second half of last year's line was out there today. They did pretty well in the pass block, especially in the second half, but the run blocking, not so much. But what that tells us is, I don't know how long Cody Ford is for this roster. He's been a point of contention ever since he was drafted. And we've seen this organization's not afraid to move on from players. They're not afraid to make, big decisions that are like, whoa, they're not afraid to, he just looks like a guy that's just, needs a change of scenery. And the Bills, I'm sure if a right opportunity comes along, they'll take it. But if not, they'll just keep him for depth and look what, he'll be allowed to move on this off. I think I think that would be, they would probably try to find a way to move him this offseason. What's up, Jake? How you doing, bro? Were you surprised by them going man and sending the house as many times? No, because Tua tends to, he's a quick delivery guy. He's not going to drive the ball down the field. I know I keep deferring to Eric because he was at the game. The wind, especially on the broadcast from the people who were watching on TV, like most of us were, the wind looked like it picked up, and Tua's balls even the short ones were fluttering. Like he threw a couple when he tried to throw outside the hashes they just looked like wounded ducks. Like there was a third down. One of the running backs tried to contort his body and the wind just took it. It fluttered. Like he just had no velocity to cut through the wind because he was really those short ones and they were so close to being tipped. Oh, that's Trey White, man. He wanted a pick six so bad. That guy was squatting on balls so hard today. He was just like, he was dying to get a pick six today. He was really just asking for it. There was a couple of times he came close, but there was one where he missed a tackle because he was driving inside leverage so hard. And I forget the receiver that caught it. Might have been Isaiah Ford. It wasn't Parker. And I know Preston Williams was left in Miami because of a personal reason. And I was kind of happy to see that because he had been coming on for them in the last couple of weeks. But it was important not only to get a win, to get a division win, bury a division foe, and go in clean. You got, the trade deadline coming up. Will the Bills do business? Will they not? I'm sure, all the fan sites will litter your timelines with reckless rumors and crazy stuff like Cole Beasley getting traded to who and for what. I mean, come on, man. That guy's been money on the field. Money. And he plays his balls off. The guy played three games on playoff games on a broken leg last year. Come on. I don't want to hear nothing about that. But I mean, that was the kind of win, the kind of second half, the kind of win that a really good team puts together. You're not playing your best football. It's ugly, and you got to go into the room and regroup at half. The D is doing their thing. I'm sure the D is just like offense. You'll find it, go for it. Josh, Josh, man, he really. I'm dying to see his second half numbers compared to the first half numbers. Like I'm waiting for those splits to come out. But Josh in the second half, man, he was on it. I know he went for two bills plus, like for or the high ones, two touchdowns. He ran for one, had a couple of big first down runs. He had the one big 34 yarder early in the game. And I was just, when the Bills were kind of like looking for something, I was just like, give it to him again, man. Spread them out, make them disjointed, make them have to, if they want to show you they're coming, make them box it in and show you they're coming, and just and like Eric alluded to in the room, they started with those little quick, hitting them with the quick screens. Like, look, if you want to play back, we'll take that cheap 5, 6, 7 yards. Sometimes guy squirts loose, gets a first down. Yeah, man. I know they like to diversify. They box it in. I know there was that really ugly down where the Bills Josh was trying to sweep going towards the away side of the TV screen. I know Gilliam was on the field, and then he was in between, and then he pitched it back to Moss and ended up being fumbled out of bounds. As a real ugly play. I was like, throw that shit in the garbage. Never run that shit again. Gabe Davis caught a touchdown today. He was my guy to lead the Bills in touchdown receptions. That's not happening yet. Dawson Knox still leads the team with 5, even he didn't play today. Caught a touchdown in the first Miami matchup, but yeah, today would have been a nice day to have him. But I think the team found the answers that it needed to find in the second half. And again, what I was saying, good football teams find answers. They find solutions to problems in quick fashion, because you've got minutes, seconds, minuscule amounts of time, and then in the game you have fractions of seconds. So they were able to really reestablish themselves. And I'll give Moss and Singletary credit because they blocked well on third down. They ran hard in the second half. They got what they could. Miami was really selling out on rundowns, and Singletary squirted through for like a 13, 15-yarder, set up the Bills touchdown, the one to Davis. And then, they were able to get a few hard yard runs. But, Spencer Brown not being there, you see why they want him. They want to start getting him in there. Physicality, nasty, mean. Today would have been a perfect day to have him out there with the way Miami was trying to be chippy. They were trying to play rough. There was a those little hangouts they have on are they called hangouts, or I don't know what they're called. They're basically like these chat rooms that Twitter has now. Well, Sean O'Hare, Brian Baldinger, and I want to say another guy had one, and it was just basically about offensive line play. And they were talking about offensive lines and stuff, and they were just talking about everything. It was a really cool thing to listen to. And I was in the middle of something, so I wanted something to listen to, basically, in football, sports oriented. I was like, perfect. And Sean O'Hare said something to me. He said, you know what, pardon my language, but every good offensive line needs a dirtbag or two. You need a dirtbag. You got to have a guy who's willing to be, just for lack of a better term, a piece of what, say nasty things, get in the opposing players' faces, mix it up more than a little bit, and just be a dirtbag, and not, doesn't care about making friends, doesn't care about, getting invited to what party or whatever by other players, just wants to just be a mean, nasty SOB. And I'm like, that's Spencer Brown, a rookie, for Christ's sake. So they need to get his back calm down, healthy. To be honest with you, I think he, tall guy taking a red-eye flight from Iowa to Buffalo, trying to sit in one of those seats. He learned his lesson. They have to say it was a workout thing. That's happened before. It's happened to basketball players. It's happened to bigger football players. I'm sure he'll jump on he'll get in the first class section next time if he can. But 35 minutes in, the Sunday night game's about to start. Dallas without Dak in Minnesota. I'm sure we all hope Dallas loses, but you guys, let me read. Oh, Jake, what's up, man? Absolutely a nasty. Yeah, man. That just we have some of those guys. Like Hughes is a little bit of that on defense, but just you need dogs. Feliciano supposed to be, but I mean, I just think that's something that we're still lacking a little bit. I want to critique the team when I can and be honest. I want to see us be a little more nasty, a little more physical, mean at the point of attack, move some men, as opposed to like those short yardage situations are brutal, man. That one that I believe it was to Moss, it just got swallowed whole, and it was like where's the physicality? Where's the strength? Where's like holding your block and just at least hold, you don't have to move them, just hold them up so at least Moss can get ahead of steam. He just got buried. And that's, who's on Miami's defensive line? I mean, Christian Wilkins is an okay player. Is it Zach Seiler's Roquan Day, they're okay. Last in the league in defense, but we saw that in the second half. The Bills were able to calm it down after the first 3 and out. They calmed it down, and they scored on every drive after that, and probably should have, outside of some wishy-washy penalty the refs just threw after a minute after a successful play was converted, would have scored, another 4 to 7 points. So hats off to him for that. But I can't say enough about this defense, the coaching staff, because they were hot. I mean, McDermott to a man, McDermott, especially with some of the, it started when he was not able to get the timeout on the Patrick Laird third down conversion. And there was another play, I forget where it just sprung board from there. He was pissed. He was losing his fucking mind on the sideline. They weren't really focusing on him on the broadcast, but you can see him. Like, I try to focus on what he's doing, and it's easy to spot. Bald guy. He just you can see him. He got the headset. He's front and center, and he was apoplectic. Josh, that was as animated as Josh as I've ever seen him. Now, you know how Bills fans, they call WGR or whatever. We want an emotional quarterback. We want a guy trying to amp his guys up and go ham. You know what? On reference. Tell me that's not an emotional leader. Tell me that's not a galvanizer. Tell me that's not a fire starter. Tell me that he's the igniter, he's the detonator, he's the explosive. All in one. He's the fuse, every bit of it. He really like, if there was any Bills fans on the fence about him, I don't know if there ever was. Today is the kind of day, like an ugly, hard-nosed, tough win against a team that is desperate. 1-0 for their last 6 coming in, now 0 for 7. And their coach is probably going to get fired. Their quarterback is getting questions about trades. They have good football players, but they're not a team. They're just not a team. K Beats, what's up, man? McD went nuts when the Dolphins jumped off sides. Yeah, he was just losing his mind. Ever after he could not get that timeout, and you saw him, like you saw his little ass running, like he looks little on TV. He's like, he's gone. You just see him dart. Like he ran like 25 yards pretty fast for a guy that's almost 50, and they didn't give it to him. And he saw something he didn't like. He didn't see an alignment that he liked. But Jake, man, I can't agree with you more about that. You play off that. Like me, I'm not the biggest guy in a sense. Like I'm 5'10". When I played high school and a little bit, I was like let's say a blown up 205 pounds. I'm not near that now. I can't eat that amount of food. I love to lift, but not that heavy anymore. I like to lift. I could lift that heavy if I wanted to, but I don't need to. And I was just a dirtbag. I was a nasty prick. Like I like to hit things, and I saw guys, they're like, oh yo, white chocolate's fucking, he's being a nasty little motherfucker. Like, let's get on. We want some of that too. And they would just kind of like, they like that. They would gravitate towards that type of mentality, because there was guys, there's nothing more frustrating than being a guy. It's like, I'm an average sized dude, and you see a guy that's like between 6'2" and 6'4", weighs easily for a high school kid above 225, and he's soft. Like, he plays soft, he plays small. I'm like, dude, look at you. I wish I had your size. And you play like a teddy bear. Like, oh, that frustrates the fuck out of me. Well, okay, Eric in the room. What was the explanation on why they went for 2 at the end of the game? I don't know, man. I just think they wanted to rub it in. To be honest with you, just like they were up 11. If you go up 17, probably a true 3 scores. You go up by a true 3 score there, like you're gonna seal it. Like, there's no chance for them to, even if they get the miracle that they would get the ball back twice, score 2 touchdowns, and get 2 2-point conversions, they'd still have to get the ball back a third time with no timeouts and kick a field goal to win. So, I mean, maybe, but I just think they just wanted to rub it in. And maybe they saw it as an opportunity to work on the red zone. We got this game. We're going to win it. This is just like a freebie in live action to just try to work on something. That's when I saw it as, like, I didn't care if they converted or not. I would have liked it because it's nice round score, 20-28. Looks sexier on a stat sheet. I just thought that I saw it as, you know what, they're just going to use it as a freebie. Jefferson just tried to throw an end. The Bills tried this with Cole Beasley, ended up almost disastrous. I know he's a former high school quarterback, but it was terrible. I don't know if the Bills scored a touchdown on that drive or not, but Justin Jefferson just tried an end around pass in the Vikings game, and it was just fucked from inception. You could just tell. Oh, it led to a 3 score. Yeah, it would have led to a 3. That's why I think they did it, but I think they also did it in part, well, let's just use this. If we get it, great, but we just use this as a chance to, work on a red zone. They were 3 for 4 in the red zone, and the one time that they got shit out of there, they didn't get into the red zone until the second half, until their second drive of the second half. Oh, that was a terrible throw by Cousins. Oh my God. I swear to God, though, I don't know who the DB was. I think it might have been Byron Jones. I think it was Byron Jones. There was one where Emmanuel Sanders was looking up. He was going to get that. And whoever the DB was from Miami just tipped it at the last possible second. It was a deep ball in the first half that didn't get completed. Tua played pretty well. He still doesn't scare me. But he's getting, Tim, honestly, bro, like you can't be a check down diva in the NFL. Like, you can check the ball down a little bit and move a team down the field, put a scoring drive together. But if you watch the way the Bills defense plays him, they play him with no fear. They're up on the line. They're not backed up. There's no fear of their play action. They blitz him with reckless abandon. You have DBs all over the field squatting on routes. Trey White was just driving on the ball multiple times. I know the refs helped them a little bit, but when you looked at the game afterwards, he really didn't get their third down conversion. Most of that was in the first half. They were 4 for 14 on third down. And then after, the Bills did most of their damage on third down in the second half, they were they were a little under 50% at 6 for 13. So, and I remember in the first half, that was all Miami. That was all Miami did. Adam Thielen touchdown. Nice. Those were all in the first half. So once they figured him out and figured out what they were doing, you noticed that Devontae Parker just disappeared in the second half. He only had that one gift catch that he caught, and so he ran it for like a good 15 plus yards, but that was it. They were just hitting them with that little option, boom, boom, and just right over it. And boy, that pass was close to being tipped. If you were watching the broadcast, I know Edmonds had his hand. Oh, it was right there. And I want to say the other one might have been Milano, but it was close. It was close. But he got those passes in there, and that's going to happen. Give him credit for having the balls to throw them in there. I wouldn't. Nick, Chris, what's up, bro? Looking, I mean, if you follow my Instagram and stuff, I 6 times a week, I have a bunch of weights in the other room. I don't want like a meathead or anything like that, but I like to, fitness is a passion of mine. It's fun. That's how I relax. Like I'll be going into the gym, rocking the Bills tomorrow. And people will know, people know me as a Bills fan. So like all of us, we're rare and we're few, unless you live in the city or the outlying area. It's common, but not around here. But it's really just coming off that loss in Tennessee. It was, I don't know about you guys, was that not the longest? Jesus Christ, was it 13 days? 12, 13 days? It seemed like forever. What's up, Ronald? How you doing, bro? I haven't seen you in a while. How you been, bro? It just seemed like forever. It felt like a month. Like I was like, dude, it feels like a whole off season went by. It feels like it's like an opener. It just, oh God, it was killing me. Like around Wednesday, around Thursday, I'm like, Jesus Christ, can I just fast forward to Sunday already? Like last night, I went out to eat to dinner with my woman, and I'm just like, and she's like, "Oh, you're just gonna go to sleep and try to wake up till kickoff, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Well, she had to, she went with her mom to take her little sister out trick or treating and stuff, and I stayed, back watching the Bills and stuff." So yeah, it was horrible, Tim. It was a horrible wait, man. It's second straight year, and you can win that game. If that was to be replayed, I'll take the same play, same situation, 10 out of 10, and I think the Bills would convert it. And I wanted, 6-1 sounds nice, but again, I sit back, I watch the rest of the league. You watch the way the ebbs and flows of these games happen, and just the crazy things. Like two teams going nowhere. Redskins, Broncos. The Broncos tried to lose that game. They legitimately said, we don't want to fucking win. They're like running the ball to just run out the clock after they stopped the Broncos near their goal line, got them backed up, stopped them on a fourth and like forever. Fucking, they almost fumble, get it back. Then I think they throw an incomplete pass. Then they run it again. Melvin Gordon fumbles. And then it's like they almost had it. It's same as here. It's Vicious 155, bro. I'll put it in the room. It's Vicious 155. It's Vicious 155 everywhere. But it was an agonizing wait. And when you come off a loss, it's not like you get to sit on a win. You get to relax. But it's a nice stat now. McDermott is 7-0 coming out of buys. 7-0 coming out of buys. That's an impressive. Is he 7? Let me see. I had a like here. I don't know if is it 7-0 coming out of buys. Let me see what his record is. It's a pretty nice statistic. Okay, Bills have won their last 7 games coming out of a bye. So this is the 5th. This is McDermott's 5th year as a head coach. So he's 5-0 coming out of a bye. That's nice. That's nice. Adam Shine said he thought McDermott botched the end of the Titans game. How? Again, like I see, you're an attentive guy, Eric. You pay attention. You're a hardcore Bills fan. You like you watch these blue checks enough. You watch these national mouthpieces enough. They hop on the next nice thing. It's like Adam Shine's always been fair to Allen. He's always been a fan of Allen, liked McDermott, but it's like they still in a lot of ways get treated like the Bills, small market team. The Bengals have done nothing. Look how much love the Bengals have gotten in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Look at how much love they've gotten. You would think the Bengals are undefeated, that Burrow is throwing for 350 plus, 4 touchdowns a game. As a matter of fact, it's the same guy, Adam Shine, 2 weeks ago, said, now, Joe Burrow hasn't even completed a full season of playing football yet. I don't even think he has. Does he have 16 NFL starts? He might have. Or now he needs 17 NFL starts. But anyway, he said, this is on his Twitter. You can go find it in the archive. Go into Twitter advanced search. He said, Joe Burrow is this generation's Joe Montana. What? What? I'm like, I saw that and I'm like, dude, are you? I mean, honestly, Eric, I have to say, yeah, because I see these quarterbacks make a lot of mistakes. I mean, some of the mistakes that Mahomes got away with, now he's getting burned this year. It's kind of like there's a no touch, there's a no ridicule, no criticize bin certain guys get. Like you don't touch him. It's like an amulet. Like, oh, he's got the amulet on, you can't touch him. Oh, he's safe. You can't ridicule him. Precious little thing. And then you see the TikToks and the dumb shit him and his little brother and his wife doing. It's like, come on, this guy is begging. Like, how, like this guy, he's either got no balls, he's pussy whipped, to tell his little brother and his wife, yo, calm that shit the fuck down. I'm getting flack and I'm getting heat and I look fucking stupid because of you two assholes. Cut it. But they still do their thing. And, you know, when you're losing and you're making turnovers but if Allen had a relative or a wife or a girl, which he does, but she doesn't do that stuff, or a little brother or sibling doing cockamamie shit like that, dude, it's pitchforks and torches. Some of the mistakes I see, some of the boondoggles by some of these quarterbacks, Allen is on a crucifix. He's on fire right now. He's Joan of Arc. Let me read some of the comments, guys. I'm sorry I went off on that tangent, but it's true. It's like another example, Justin Herbert. Holy shit, Justin Herbert with 22 NFL starts. That guy in Los Angeles, man, he's already the second best quarterback. And it's nothing against these quarterbacks. I'm not having a go at them as players. But the way the media talks about them, you kind of like, for the layperson, not you guys, because you guys are all intelligent and you have brains and eyes and you've watched this game long enough to know how it works. There's still quarterbacks in their second year. Okay. They're going to get shown shit and have done shit to them that they've never seen before in a game and adversity that they've never come up against. And that's always, it's the best thing that was ever said about quarterbacks to me. It's the truest thing and the best thing. Quarterbacks are like tea bags. You only find out about them when you put them in hot water. That's it. Everybody can be a hero when the sun is shining and they're on the mountaintop and they're, dick waving. How does it look when their dicks are in the dirt and it's muddy out and it's raining and the chips are down and they've got to pull it all together? Jake, Tua is not good at all. He has slow eyes. He cannot drive the ball. Yeah, man. Some of those passes in the second half when the wind picked up, they were just fluttering. They were like ducks. Shit that I'd be throwing out there. I have a noodle arm. I got biceps and a tricep, but I have no kind of throwing arm whatsoever, man. My mechanics are all fucked up. I can run fast and hit shit, but don't ask me to throw nothing. You ain't gonna like it. The only route he can hit consistently is a slant, and it has to be off the RPO action. It has to be. For him to sit back and have to diagnose and go through his progressions and his reads, he starts freaking out. When that first one's not there, that's when he does that. He starts that like herky-jerky, like he's moving around. He doesn't even need to. He wants an excuse not to have to throw and just run or throw it away. And that's what happens when you come from a program like Alabama. You're surrounded by A-listers, fast guys who get tons of separation. They're playing the Southern Georgias and the programs that aren't, don't have the ability to get those type of recruits. You have that offensive line and all those first round picks surrounding you, that defense on the other side of you, you can end up looking way better than you are, man, and way better than you are. That's why I don't like their players very much. I really don't. They've produced a couple of studs, but for a program that puts as much NFL talent in the NFL as it does, there's way more bust effect than hit effect. I'm gonna read some of the comments here. Timothy, Burrow. It's the whole story with Burrow, right? The transfer, the national title, and everything. But man, you want to know the Bills used to get killed, right, for being like a second-rate, bottom-feeding organization with a lousy stadium and shitty facilities, which they've upgraded immensely. They're on the horizon of a new stadium, and they've totally turned over the entire operation. The Bengals practice pretty much under a bridge next to the stadium. They have no indoor practice facility. They upgraded their weight room for the first time. Was it 4 seasons ago? For the first time, and that was the first time they upgraded it since the early 90s. Okay, think about that. And Mike Brown is one of the most, if not the most frugal owners there is in every way, shape, or form. They roll in $40 million of cap every year. No compunction. No desire to spend it. But just let's anoint them as something special. And that's nothing against Burrow. He's still a young guy that's still cutting his teeth in this league. But the media is just such victims of the moment. It makes me sick. Sorry, guys. I'll get to your comments. I got sidetracked on tangents. My bad, man. Allen was 14 on fourth down conversion before McDermott made that call. Yeah, I mean, you can't, in that situation, I believe 14 for like in the when he had to sneak it, that specific situation. Timothy, it's easy to second guess going for it on 5th down after getting stopped, but our D hasn't, didn't stop. Yeah. So I totally agree with the call. I have no problem with that 4th down. I'll go for it again. I would have to say, go for it again. Go for it again. And McDermott was speaking before the game, and he's like, yeah, he was on WGR. He does a little talk. I don't know if it's with Eric Wood or John Murphy. And he was like, yeah, I'll go for it again. That's a winning mentality. We trust our players. We respect our players. And that's coming from coaches like where we came from with like wimpy Dick Geron and, Chan Gale, there's Mike Mularkey. Please just, you've got the stud quarterback. It was a fucked up situation. A slip happened. Enough is enough. I'll go for it again and be fine with it. Let me read some of the comments here. They are all afraid to say anything negative about Mahomes because once he starts playing better, they don't want to have to back. But you know what? But it's amazing. They'll still flame other guys. It's like they make their beds. They leave themselves no wiggle room. That's why we don't have any kind of objective media, firm, fair, objective, bipartisan media in any way, shape, or form. It's like, look, your job is to be objective. It's a performance-based business. That's what it's all driven by. And what I said last, the last live, it's all fanboy media. That's all we have now is fanboy media. Like the fan sites acts as fan sites. That's why most people want to interact with fan sites now, because why are you going to listen to national people who fanboy and annoy the fuck out of you? And they don't hide it. Like they fanboy. Like that, just dead ass fanboy. All of them do, no matter how big their platform is or how small, local, national, regional, they all fanboy. And it's like please, they get their boys, their guys, and they fluff them up. They won't criticize them, and they'll find any way, shape, or form to, be like explain away when they fuck up. But they'll be the first ones to get out the gavel of judgment when somebody they don't like fucks up, as we've seen. Okay, K beats or face the wrath of his brother. Oh my God. Yeah, the kid, I don't know if he has a spine. Like for a guy, you play in the NFL, you're a quarterback, you think you've led men, you've played at a high level. Tell them to shut the fuck up. Get off social media. Stop embarrassing themselves, and in turn, like, they're making you look bad for no fucking reason. So this little douche can do his stupid dances. He looks like an idiot. He's just poaching off the name, poaching off you, being seen with you, around you. You look dumb, man. I don't feel bad for him. He's got to say something. He's got to say something. If he doesn't want to say anything, you can have your mom talk for you on Twitter, yell at fans. What is that? If Tua comes out of college like Kate, yeah, he doesn't get drafted because it's the Saban push. The reason these kids go to Bama is because they know Saban has the Belichick connection, and it's Belichick. Oh my God, Belichick can take a shit. People would get it, put it in a case, and try to like analyze it and dissect it and put it in a museum, and they think it's special. They think there's something in the shit that it's different than everybody else's. No, it's not. We know that. You watched the game today. Mac Jones did nothing special. He dinked and dunked his way downfield. He made a few nice throws, and they feasted on Charger mistakes. That's all they did. That's all they did. And they won the game 27-24. Indy game, Jets come. I mean, they look like they're tougher, but again, it's a week-to-week league. We don't know how their guys are going to be feeling. We don't know how our players are going to be feeling. Who's going to be playing, who's going to be playing at a high level that week, who's not going to be playing the level that week, injuries, coaching decisions. There's so many variables that happen. It's on paper. They look tougher, but it's today was supposed to be a cakewalk. Did it look like a cakewalk? No, the Bills had to go out and earn that shit. It wasn't a fucking cakewalk. That was a earned victory. That wasn't a hand-me-down. Like it is truly, it is a big cliche week-to-week league. It truly is, man. And today illustrated that. You look at the way the Eagles have been playing, right? And you look at the way the Lions have battled. The Eagles beat the shit out of the Lions today. And the Lions are the worst team in the NFL, 0-8. But they've been playing hard. They took the Rams to the brink last week. They've taken a lot of other teams. They should have beaten the Ravens. They should have beaten the Ravens, like the Jets. The Jets are 2-5, 2-6. I think they're 2-5. Their 2 wins: the Tennessee Titans here at MetLife and the Bengals at MetLife. Make that make sense. It doesn't. It's a week-to-week league. Eric says, let me read some of the comments here. It was good out of town scoreboard today for my personal taste. It was good out of town scoreboard, just like last week. Eric, Mahomes' brother makes me sick talking about living. Yeah, that's all he does. Like, and people who don't retweet this douchebag. Why you give it like some of these fan sites, even though the Bills fan sites, I'll the same thing. They'll say click anything for clout, anything. They would literally sell off their own mother for a little bit of love from the right blue check or a retweet. They would. No substance, all bullshit. Trading fucking Beasley. Get the fuck out of here. His little brother's a piece of shit. Ladarius Gainey, refs are so bad. Yeah, the refs are terrible, bro. But you stick with the game, man. You knew eventually talent rules the day, coaching rules the day, and they held together and they won. What's up, Steve? How you doing, bro? Herbert had a rough game. And if you listen to the national people, I know I bang on about this, and I have been for a half an hour. Listen to the national people 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. Herbert was it. He's right behind her. He's over Allen. He's on Mahomes' ass for best quarterback in the AFC. This and that. Go watch Lamar Jackson last week against the Bengals. And then go look at Mike White against the Bengals this week. Make it make sense. Week to week league. Josh Allen has a lot of flash and a lot of rough edges, but if you look at it in totality, he in the last 2 years total, in the AFC, he's been the most consistent quarterback in the AFC. Out of the young quarterbacks and all of the quarterbacks, he's been the most consistent in the AFC. But you don't hear that shit. It's like he's still this wild lion, this wild thing you have to tame and stuff. And he went ape shit in the first half, but then he went off in the second half and won the game. 300 yards total, tied for most rushing touchdowns with Cam Newton in that amount of games. He almost had 60. Believe it or not, he almost had 70% completion today. It didn't seem like it, but that's how well he played in the second half. That's why I want to get the splits when I can find them. Yeah, Wentz had some brutal interceptions today, K-Beats. That pick six was rough. Like, he just lobbed it up. And I don't know, it was a pick last week, but it was like they said it was a pick first, then they changed it to a fumble, but he totally meant to throw that ball. Wimpy Dick. Yes, Wimpy. I remember one time he threw a challenge flag in New England. It was a terrible game. Matt Castle quarterbacked the game in New England, 2008. And Dick Duran went to throw a challenge flag, right? They didn't give him the challenge. He literally took it. You know how these most people, they chuck that shit, right? He just drops it at his feet. He gets up and does this. He does this. This is what he does. He takes it out of his pocket, and the refs are like, "We're not going to give you the challenge, dude." And he just stood there and didn't argue, didn't say anything. On to the next play. Like, he literally just took it, and it was clearly a play that they would have won if the challenge would have been given. And I'll never forget that. That epitomized Wimpy Dick. Tampa losing, Saints on their third string quarterback. Jets beat the Bengals. Yeah, man, it's a crazy league, dude. Oh, what's up, Steve? Let me read some of your comments, Steve. You're in the room here. I'm still concerned about our run. 3 for 4 again, 3 for 4 today. The one situation was a penalty that came a minute after the play was over. They were going to go and score another touchdown. After the first 3 and out, they scored on every drive. What I'm concerned with is the run. I'm concerned with the short yardage, like being able to get a hard yard. You can't always rely on an Allen Sneak. He'll get them. He'll get his share, but they need to be able to establish the line, period. You don't have to move. Even you want to move people, but hold your fucking block. Hold your ground. Don't get blown up. There's one thing to hold your ground and just get totally blown the fuck up. That's why getting Spencer Brown back is a lot bigger than I think people realize. You think that it just was a coincidence after 8 fucking plays against Washington, this 4th round pick all of a sudden said to the coaching staff, he needs to fucking go in because he's a dirtbag and he's physical and he's long and he's a good athlete and he's a nasty son of a bitch. He's everything the offensive line needs. And we saw that today. They need that. Jake, Bills fans got to remember now we're considered the best team in the AFC, so we're going to get everybody's best. We're going to get everybody's best game, but here we are, going into week 9. The Bills are 5-2, could easily be 7-0, but they're 5-2. We have still not seen the Bills' best game on offense. We have still not to see. Now we're entering the month at 5-2. We're got to start seeing it. We got to start seeing a complete game. We've seen complete games from the defense. We've seen really good games from the offense. Bills haven't played their best game on offense yet. Maybe I'm a fanboy. Maybe I'm being a homer. I refuse to believe they played their best game on offense yet. Has not happened. Has not happened. Steve, I meant the good teams in the AFC are beatable, and the other team has a good run game that it's just, again, the strength of our offense is our pass game. Our quarterback is a running component of our offense. And I think when we see an uptick in the run, either one of Moss or Singletary is going to take the reins as the lead back. He's the clear number one, and we're going to get our offensive line is just going to get settled. Like, this is our starting five. I think our starting five is with Spencer Brown, and the middle, however it gets shaked out, gets shaked out. That's why the next couple of days, I want to see if there's going to be a trade. I don't know if anybody comes in starting right away, but I want to see if there's a depth move, an interesting piece, some food for thought. Well, all the changes to replace Spencer Brown today. Why not just go with four? Well, they didn't replace him. He tweaked his back. He tweaked his back. If he was healthy, he would have started. There was no replacing him. And apparently the coaching staff doesn't see Ford as a guy. I have to trust that they know what they're looking at when they're watching these guys in practice and in meetings, and they get evaluated everywhere. If they're not putting him in games and they put Ike Bucker in ahead of him after he was starting to start the season, that should tell us something. We just can't go with like, oh, the guy was drafted in the second round, or he's supposed to be good. No, he's been replaced by a fourth round pick from this year, and he's been usurped by an undrafted free agent who's been on the Bills for about 5 seasons in some capacity, in Ike Bucker. Yeah, you get the best 5 in there and go, and that's however the best 5 is. Reshuffled. Yeah, I knew what you meant, Tim. I maybe you didn't know. What's up, Doug? How you doing, bro? Yeah, man. Just like Jordan Poyer's new hoodies say, big dub, big dub. Dude, let's just take our hat off that guy. He came out and just he really did a really strong, humanized himself, admitted, like, look, I had a little bit of an issue, with some drinking, and we would never have known that unless he would have verbalized it and said, look, I'm human. I like to drink a little too much, and it was getting to be a problem. And the guy was still playing A+ ball. Tell me the guy hasn't played A+ ball. And at 30 years old, after getting a contract extension, the guy is just playing at another level. I mean, driving on the football, intercepting the football. He plays a physical downhill game. He's an all-around safety. And you know what? Eric mentioned it about Allen not getting credit. Our defense doesn't get any credit. We don't have flashy names, but my God, tell me Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer aren't the 2 best safeties in the league for how many years running now? Tell me Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde individually, collectively, isn't better than Jamal Adams. How much love does Jamal Adams get? How much love does Tyrann Mathieu get? Tell me Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde aren't their equals, if not their betters. I'll listen. I swear. Jay Barkley, man, I hope Groot and EJ go on a sack streak. Yeah, man, he got his face mask, he got his helmet ripped off after the refs were so readily throwing illegal hands of the face flags. All of a sudden, they missed that, and of course, Gesicki gets the long catch on that one. The best pass, I would say that Tua threw all day was the first long one to Parker on Levi Wallace, and that was it. That was his best pass of the game. I mean, good contested catch by Parker, went up and got it, but it was his best pass, giving his receiver a chance. Jake says, that's why I was disappointed to see Quentin Spain get released. Now the Bills don't have that. But again, he got replaced last year, so I have to believe that there was a reason for that. I think that our coaching staff has earned our trust and earned our respect. I think our personnel department has done that too. And if they're going to release a guy or trade a guy or move a guy that they just gave a contract extension to so fast, and then he gets removed off the lineup, there's got to be a reason for it that we're not seeing. They're not going to throw the player out under the bus in public. This organization, this regime does not do that. They don't have some leakers or mouthpieces that they funnel out information to so they can just railroad a player's reputation. He got picked up relatively quickly, and he's playing well. And maybe he needed a change of scenery. Who knows? Things happen, man. It sucks, but the Bills have to find answers in house. The answers generally lie in house. It's easy to think about going grocery shopping. Sometimes the answers are in your own pantry. And I think I think the guys we have are able to play better. And I think we have a rookie right tackle who has a high ceiling, a very high ceiling. And I think when he gets back, we'll be better for it. Let's what's up, Dougie? +2 today, turnovers, +13 for the season, lead the league. Can we get a McDermott fast clap? We know he loves that shit. We know he loves that shit. We love that shit. We knew they had a few in them today. But boy, tell us our dicks weren't in our fucking our balls and dicks weren't in our throats when fucking McKenzie muffed that goddamn punt. And it was like, you know what I was doing? I hated the fact I was like saying, I knock it out of the end zone for a fucking safety. Just don't let them fall on it for a touchdown. But I was like, they're gonna get 2 points in the ball. But then touchback Jesus comes out of nowhere, Jay Kumaro, and recovers it. All right, let me read. Oh, it's from what I've seen from the offensive plays, this best when it just takes what the defense. Yeah, and there's that. And I seen like even Josh said it in the post game. He said, look, finding his inner peace. I play my best when I'm more relaxed and chill. Like I was just way too amped up and pissed. And man, that's what I mean. You don't want to hear like none of these. You're not going to these WGR calls like, oh, where's the emotion from our coach? Where's the fire from our quarterback? Why isn't he in guys' face? They finally, and maybe that has happened before, and the cameras weren't on. It was on today, and Allen was fucking. That's as animated as I've ever seen him. He was fucking on fire. That's what you want to see, though. Team's not playing well. He feels like he's not playing well. The offensive line they had just gotten blown up on a short yardage, and he was pissed. And you know what? The team looked like they were out of sorts. You're coming off a bye. They had a Halloween party. This is probably their last chance to really let loose before they're facing a 10-game stretch. They had a Halloween party, I believe, Monday and the Tuesday night. If you guys saw the Instagrams, the stories, and the posts, they look like it was lit. And it was the whole fucking team. This team parties together. There's no outliers. There's no black sheep. There's no fucking nothing. They all came to the stadium in costumes and still kind of a lighthearted type of thing. But now they got to get down to business. I think now they know playtime's over and the real season begins now. Jake, we keep giving away guards to Ohio teams that end up playing. I will. Okay. One, I'll concede Jay Barkley on one. I think the one that got away was Wyatt Teller. I will say that. I think young player, you drafted him, you brought in guys that the offensive line coach had a history with, and Teller became the odd man out. But I will say Teller plays with a lot of really good players around him, but he plays really fucking good on his own. And, he's got a hell of an offensive line coach. Bill Callahan is an amazing offensive line coach. Skarnecki in New England always got a ton of credit, a ton of love because New England won. It's New England. But Bill Callahan, anywhere he's ever been, his offensive lines have been fucking amazing. Fucking amazing. Extremely well coached, physical. I would have loved to have seen, the run scheme, the blocking scheme that he runs. I know he's involved in their run game a little bit. It's a little more power downhill. But I have to give him credit, though. I think Teller is definitely a guy that, you found Wyatt Teller, you find another one, right? There's, you got to wonder if Jake Anderson wasn't claimed by Philly, that the Bills might have not moved him up to the 53 already. You have to wonder that. I wonder that a little bit. I was wondering that when I saw he got signed, I'm like, well, it's a positive thing. People want your draft picks, but I was kind of like, maybe Anderson could be a baller that we lost out on too. That might suck. Early on, Miami was just taking what we gave them, found success. Yeah, they had some stuff schemed up. And then once it got figured out, how much did they move the ball? And their one scoring drive was aided by a bad penalty. That was a sack on third down. They said Hughes was offsides. That would have turned it into like a third and long or a fourth down. No, it would have been a third and long. And then, Gesicki pushes off, no hands to the face against Rousseau by Jesse Davis. And that was the play that the catalyst that got them their touchdown and the 2-point conversion. Outside of that, they were just trash. Miami was just our defense made them look like shit. Can we draft two? Man, they drafted 2 tackles this year. I mean, and that was think about it this way. They drafted 2 tackles, right? This is a team that gave Williams a long-term deal. They have Dawkins under contract. They re-signed, Feliciano, which is a nominal deal. They're going to be able to get out. They can get out from under that deal very easily. They can get out from under the Morse deal very easily. So if there's one unit or one piece of the team that we'll see get a facelift in the offseason, that's a long ways away. We're all junkies for it, is the interior of the offensive line. We know that's coming. But again, we have to worry about what's in the pantry. We can't worry about what's in the grocery store right now. We can't. Cleveland fell to 4-4 today. National media Super Bowl pick. Yeah, man. And you know what I will say? Baker played well. I watched some of that game a little bit. I had it on the other side on another tab open, and I would flick back and forth when the Bills were in commercial break. They had a lot of drops in that game. Jarvis Landry, and there's a player I don't feel bad for. I don't wish him ill, but if bad things happen to the guy, I'm not going to cry. I don't like Odell Beckham's antics at all. I never have. When he was here with New York, I hated it. There was a lot of people that wanted the Bills to try to go out. I was like, please, you do not want that poison pill on your. I know he's got shoulder issues. Drop City. Landry today, drop City. He looks like very physical wide receiver. We know. I'm sure Aaron Williams knows because he ended his career, and that's why. And it's not the only dirty hit that he give a Bills player. He's a real piece of shit. And that's why I dislike him so much. And a lot of us do too. And he looked shot today. He looks like a guy who's just played a physical game. He's getting a little bit older. He was never the fastest guy. And he just was having some pretty sure-handed. He was dropping some balls today because Baker was putting it on him, and they were just making some bad plays. Yeah, you know what? A Giants fan told me something interesting about him, Doug, and I'll get back to the rest of the comments preceding yours. This guy's a hardcore Giant fan, been since the Ray Perkins years, and it was right in 2016. Or no. It was before that. It was the Monday. It was that moment. He's like, the catch, the one-hander, Dallas. They lost the game. He said to me, he's like, that catch is gonna haunt. Is going to haunt us. And it has. That it was just, there was another instance, another brimming example, victim of the moment, anointing oil. This guy's the greatest wide receiver ever. Get the gold jackets. The guy's been garbage. He lives off of a moment. Name me the great games, the great plays. Name me like whole spans of games. He's known for that catch, having fits on the sideline, launching shit. He tried launching at Stephon Gilmore in Buffalo in 2014 or 15, I should say. And he tried the Carolina situation with Norman was lovely. But let me read back to some of the comments you guys were throwing. Tyrann Mathieu is great at throwing his arms up. Yeah, and bitching. That's it wasn't me. It was bad. It was my teammates. Yeah, he's been good for them, Jake. I'll give you that. Tua turnable. I feel bad for him a little bit. You see him, he just looks dazed and confused. And that's what I mean. When you play at Alabama and it's all peachy keen and you're just going out there having pretty much what are called glorified scrimmages against, Mississippi's and Arkansas's, and, they would beat up on Georgia. Not so much anymore because Georgia looks like they're the real deal. Southern, they had their cupcakes, like Louisiana Tech and Raging Cajuns. They just, it's easy. It's easy. Now you're playing hard. You're playing against real coaches, professional. They're not all in on you. You're not the 5-star recruit anymore, even though they picked you up. They're flirting with a quarterback who's got how many criminal sexual complaints? Civil, 20. Wow. That should tell you all you need to know. Let me read some of the play calls here. I call your guys' comments play calls. Early on, Miami was just taking. I'm going to read some of these. I have this delayed chat. It's fucked everything up. It's fucked everything up, guys. Like there's this like option when I open the room. It says of chat delay. 60 seconds, 30 seconds. I don't even know what to set it on. It just seems like I want to keep it all in order though. Beasley has been very feast or famine this week, this year pretty much, KB. It's good to see him. And yeah, he made some hellacious catches, tough catches, ran after catch, the diving one for the big long, it was beautiful. And I had, you know what's crazy? Before Josh let the ball go, and I ended up seeing who's on the receiving end of it, I knew it was to Beasley. I just knew it was to Beasley. I'm like, he was just trusting him. Guys, you adjusted it. Okay, how does Deebo Samuel have as many 150 yards plus games? I don't watch a lot of their games. He gets a lot of catch and run, And the Bears defense collapsed today. And he's pretty much the only guy that they're, because Kittle's out, Ayuk is in the coach's doghouse, and so he's getting most of the targets. Yeah, he has been trash. Do you feel Yeah, I don't think he's been good this year, Jake. I think he's been average at best. He's been average. That's why I think Spencer Brown's the future left tackle. I tweeted that like a week ago. I think he's the future left tackle. He's not just the future. He's the future left tackle of this team. They do. The Giants did, believe it or not. And he hadn't played for the Giants in forever. Yeah. Dante, I hate him. I just can't stand him. So I'm not gonna like laugh if he gets hurt, or I don't root for players to get hurt. I don't want him to get hurt. But if something does, I'm not gonna sit here and my heart's not gonna cry. I'm gonna be like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna like, oh well, because he's the type of we've seen it in live many times. He tries to hurt people. When you do that crackback block, he's headhunting out there. You know, it's easy to do that shit to players that aren't looking. I wasn't the biggest Aaron Williams fan, but I'm a Bills fan, and I don't like to see players get hurt in that manner. OG Bay was a tort. Yeah, but he crumbled, Aaron. He crumbled. He couldn't. Availability is the best ability. To me, it is the best ability. Availability. And then comes consistency. Availability and consistency. You can become consistently unavailable. You can become consistently available. And then your play level, whatever consistency that is, you can become consistently average, consistently good, consistently shitty, or you're not going to be in the league as long. But yeah, he's diminished. Like he's not what he was. It's not 2014, 7-8 years removed from that. I mean, he had a nice couple of 3 years, but he's downward spiraled since. Nah, I don't know if he's 100% Eric, but I know he could play better. He played very well last year. He was great last year, so I know he can play better. That's what I mean about the unit offensive line, but the offense as a whole, not just the offensive line. The offense as a whole has not been good. I got to discipline my cat because there's a female in heat out there, and he's constantly trying to like, Bubba, you have to get away from the door, Bubba. Go away. I'm going to spray you with the water bottle, and you're not going to like it. Come on, Bubba. Get away from the door. She doesn't want to be bothered with you. Come up here, actually. Come here, Bubby. Make your appearance on camera, Bub. You know what? I haven't given him his treats yet. Look how pissed he is. Look at his ears. He's like, fuck. Where's my goddamn treats? He is not happy. He's like, where's my treats? Yeah, I didn't give him his Bills treats yet. He gets, how many does he get? He gets 3 for the touchdown, 1 for the field goal. So you're going to get, and 3 for the win. So you get 3, 6, 9. It was a 50-plus yard field goal, so you get 2. So you're going to get 12. You're going to get 11 treats. Ramius. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think like the offensive line hasn't played well overall, but the offense hasn't played a complete game. They've played very, very well. They've put up a lot of points in games, but I don't think they've played their best game as a unit. They haven't. I don't think they've put it together. Nah, man, we have enough. I have enough, man. We have like 8 cats. I can't. We already had like an unpromptu litter, and they were all boys. I have to get fixed. They stay on the other side. I'm gonna give him his treats now, so he chills out. But yeah, so I just don't think this unit has played well overall, and as a whole. And it's crazy because I mean, the first game was probably the worst offensive game by far. And I just think that there you go, Bubby. All for you. And even today's offense, I think, wins that game because the way they played in the second half. But it's and they went into the half 10-0. They still went into the half 10-0, and it's a block punt for Pittsburgh. We can go over those situations. You slip on fourth down, you don't slip on fourth down, you easily, I think, you get that win too. So again, we're fans. We're fans, short for fanatics. So we're going to find reasons to be concerned, but we have a lot of reasons for optimism. Optimism. We're 5-2, first in the AFC East. One of the top 3 teams in the NFL. Got one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, one of the best coaches in the NFL, the best GMs, and our offense, which is the catalyst of our team, is buoyed by a damn good defense, a really good defense. I mean, I sound like the ultimate homer, but I'm not. These aren't. Am I saying anything false? One of the best defensive units in the league. That out of 6 out of the 5 games they've played amazing. Sans one run that was a long run. There was a hold on. I mean, they haven't played their best offensive game yet. So there's still a lot of room for optimism. There's still a lot of room for growth. What the meat on the bone, that's what they like to say, meat on the bone. There's a shit ton of that. And you got to believe after a first half that they're pissed. I mean, they came out, in the post game and were like, I think they knew that they fucked up. You know what I mean? They knew they didn't have to make that game as hard on themselves offensively as they did. The offense is pissed at themselves because they put their defense in a bind. They put themselves in a bind. And they know that there's they're like, look, we should have won this game fucking 38-10 going away. Instead, we dicked around for an hour and a half plus, and then finally found our rhythm. And we can't allow that shit to happen again. So, that's what I look at it as. Offense has been good in spots, definitely not whole games, Dante. Definitely not. Yeah, Washington. Yeah, I would say Washington. Spots against the Texans, especially in the rain. KC, Tennessee. I mean, you get 2 touchdowns called back for penalties. One's a special teams touchdown, but the Dawson end around, that's 4 more points. That's a win. QB slips. You're just kneeling on the ball. Game over. Maybe if you're up by 4, if you're, whatever their timeout situation was. Again, woulda, coulda, shoulda, but, you can relax now. I mean, guys, I fully mean this. Victory Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, start thinking about when they hold after the press conferences, start thinking about Jacksonville. So all this time, it felt like forever waiting for the Bills to get back on the field. Now they got to go on the road for 2 more, which is going to, before they get back in front of 3 more. They have to, they go on they get the Colts. So 2 more. So it's crazy. Like the way the schedule is with this 17th game, because there's that odd number. I mean, at least the Bills got the home game, right? Against Washington. So they had the 9 home games. And I think that they should. If you're the better team and you have the better record, you should be rewarded with an extra home game and 1 less game travel. That's what I think. I think you should make your regular season matter. Don't bastardize it. But, you got to go out. They have to go out against the Jaguars and be polar opposite, not just in the first half, throughout the whole game on offense. If you could just take that second half, bottle it up, and then translate it, that's who you are. That's who the Bills are. I think that's what was so frustrating about We know it's the bye. The L you're coming off. You're at home. It's just, fuck. It was, fuck. It's a nice win, but frustrating. Fun, frustrating, such a gamut of emotions, but that's why we love the sport, right? Yeah. Oh, you're going to go to the Colts game? So you're going to go to the next home game. It's crazy. They go on the road for 2 weeks. They come back home one. Then they go on the road again. So they've only been at home once in the last 2 months. The fuck? That's insane. You're only at home once in the last 2 months. And I know it's a short trip to down here to MetLife, but still, at least they'll be staying here in Jersey City. I'll try to poach the hotel, see if I can get some pictures or some shit. But guys, I'm gonna jump off of here, let you guys enjoy the rest of the second quarter. 5 minutes left. Dallas is losing. Minnesota's winning 7-3. No Dak Prescott. Dallas is 5-1. Minnesota's 3-3. So they're, Minnesota's one of those in-between teams. Dallas, if Dallas wins, Dallas is, if they're winning, Dallas is always going to be the best thing since sliced bread because the media loves them. They have to love him because of Jerry. He has his water boys. That's what I mean. They fanboy. There's a fanboy media. Thanks, bro, Frank. I come on here and I just shoot. I have fun with you guys. I'm not nothing special. There's no production value here. There's no glitz, no glamour. Just me and the cat and you guys and the Bills. That's all to me. That's what it's about. Like, all no fancy frills here. Definitely don't want no money for, never did. Never would, there's no, to me, it makes me sick, like bastardizing it, trying to poach fellow Bills fans that we share a passion for things like that. I hate that shit. I don't like when I see it from other fan sites. I don't like it. Thanks, brothers. Go Bills. Love you all. Did it end today even though it was a tie? Did that end? You too, K-Beats. Victory Wednesday. Remember that. All right, guys. Go Bills. Love you all. Enjoy the rest of the hope Dallas loses. Peace. Hopefully, hopefully I'll be back here this time next Sunday talking about another W. Go Bills. What's up, Doug?